Ladies and gentlemen, he did it. And the question is, how did Rigathi Gachagua manage to outwit William Ruto and the entire deep state in Ol Kalou? That is the question which I want us to answer in this video. Because based on the results, IBC results from Ol Kalou, 35,000 against 5,000. That's not just a result. That's a major political statement.
Wewe Kasongo, nilikuonya usiguze mlima, usisaliti wa Kikuyu, usiwatukane kuwaita kabila, usivute watoto wao kazi, usiharibu uchumi, usiangaisha wa Kikuyu, ukajifanya mjuaji, ukagusa mlima, ukasaliti jamii yetu. Jana wamekuonesha hao wamemalizana na wewe. Wangapi tumemalizana na Kasongo?
We all know that William Ruto was determined to win that seat. He deployed all the strategies in the book. But at the end of the day, Rigathi Gachagua humiliated them. How did he do it? Before I give you the strategies which he used, in case you're watching the channel for the first time, take a second or two, click the subscribe button, so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to go straight to the first strategy which he used. Rigathi Gachagua decided to localize that campaign. Who are the faces of that campaign? John Methu. Where is John Methu coming from? He is the senator of Nyandarua. Ol Kalou is in Nyandarua County. So he localized it. Who is the other person who was the face of this campaign? The KPP member of parliament, Wanjiko Mohia. Remember, Ol Kalou was initially part of KPP, which means they share a lot. So Rigathi Gachagua decided to localize that campaign. And that's why when Kang'ata and Leader Wananchi brigades wanted to go there, he told them, don't go there. You don't understand the dynamics in that region.
Do their politics. And I want to tell my brother Irungu Kang'ata, I heard him saying that he wants to come with the Damonanchi to Ol Kalou. We don't need you there for DCP unless you are coming to campaign for another party. If you want to come and campaign for UDA, please go ahead. If you want to come and campaign for Jubilee, go ahead, or any other party. But DCP, ours is a local campaign. We don't want confusion in Ol Kalou. The campaign has gone on for 3 months. Irungu Kang'ata has never been Ol Kalou. He does not understand Ol Kalou. He doesn't understand the issues. He doesn't understand the narrative. He cannot come and bring Leader Mwananchi there to campaign the last day without knowing what the issues are and how the campaign is being done.
And because he managed to localize the campaigns, it meant those leaders, the local leaders, were able to interact freely. They were able to understand the needs. They were able to understand the other opponent. They were able to communicate effectively. That's why the government went there, dished out everything, they ate it, but still went ahead and voted for their local man. I'm 100% sure if Rigathi Gachagua had allowed the other guys from outside to go and dominate this campaign, probably the results would be different. So that's number one. Number two, and this is something which Rigathi Gachagua has successfully managed to use up to now. Rigathi Gachagua weaponized his impeachment. Remember, Rigathi Gachagua was impeached in 2024. From that moment up to now, Rigathi Gachagua has never found an opportunity to revenge. An opportunity presented itself in Mbeere North. But because of the coalition politics within the united opposition, Justin Muturi was given that task. William Ruto taught Muturi political lessons in that by-election. Then now this one happened. And this was the opportunity for Rigathi Gachagua to revenge. Remember, Mount Kenya today, they are very angry and very bitter with President William Ruto because they felt William Ruto betrayed them in terms of the promises, in terms of bringing Raila Odinga and ODM to government, and of course, the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua. So when this by-election came up, Rigathi Gachagua successfully managed to convince the people of Ol Kalou that that election was actually a referendum on the mountain, on their dignity, and a protest against the perceived betrayal by President William Ruto. So we made it. So the people there were like, Rigathi was betrayed. Ruto betrayed us also. We've not found an opportunity. And this is the only opportunity for us to send our statement to him. That's exactly what they did. Rigathi weaponized his impeachment. And because this is something I've always said here, there's a way our politics is emotional, more so in the mountain. So it's normally very easy to invoke the emotions of the mountain. And Rigathi found that opportunity in Ol Kalou. And he revoked and he invoked that impeachment emotion.
Wacha kwanza tunyoroshe pale Ol Kalou. Pale amemwaga pesa hata hakuna change. Ukitaka chai ni 1000. Ali utashibia uende. Pombe ukilipa 1000. Ukitaka maandazi 1000. Pale amelete mpaka gari ya moshi. Jana amelete meli. Pale kila barabara nawekwa maramu. Pale pesa inapeanwa kila mtu 10,000. Sasa tunauliza Wakenya wengine, kwani hii Ruto anabeba nyinyi ufara namna gani?
The third strategy, and this worked effectively on the last day, on the voting day, the vote protection strategy. And the deep state fell for it. They failed to understand one thing about Gachagua. That Gachagua is a communicator. That Rigathi Gachagua understands politics. That Rigathi Gachagua was part and parcel of the former provincial administration. They failed. So on the election day, there was this notion. I don't know whether it was created by Gachagua or the system or Kenyans' lack of trust on IBC. Maybe you can let me know. But there was this notion that this election was going to be stolen. That the people of Ol Kalou were going to vote for their candidate and that they were going to steal. So what did Rigathi do? Rigathi convinced his supporters to wake up very early in the morning. As a matter of fact, the entire night, it was vuvuzela. So women, elderly, and pregnant women woke up very early, some dragged from hospital, and very early in the morning, lines were very huge. It was clear that either the deep state had transported their people and they wanted them to vote early, or the people of Ol Kalou just wanted to send a message. So you vote. Then now the questions about rigging and vote protection emerged. So the question then was, how was Rigathi Gachagua going to protect the votes? Because by 10, by 11 there in the morning, it was very clear from the exit polls that the win was going to be massive. The fear was the rigging. So what did Rigathi do? Number one, public alerts. Rigathi called several press conferences. And he was like, these guys are going to steal this thing. They are going to try to steal. Don't do it. And the deep state fell for it.
I have said, the winner of this election must be announced. They'll either have to announce the winner, who is the DCP candidate, or cancel the election altogether. Then we can repeat it again, if that is what we want. And the result will be the same. It will even be worse. They don't even have 5%. And I knew they would not even have 5%. They were just eating Ruto's money. These Kikuyus, I know them, and I talked to them, and I told them. And Ruto is just realizing 16 billion shillings down the drain. That's why he's so angry. That is why he's sending people to kill the people of Ol Kalou. And Douglas Kaja is just allowing it. Why can't you resign? How do you complain that there's nothing you can do because the president has ordered the massacre in Ol Kalou? Just resign and go home and come and stay with us here. Surely.
And then now, he now appealed to the emotions of the people. That you see, these people are out to hurt you guys. And the government fell for it. The government started exercising their authority. They started coming in large numbers, the police coming in force, tear gas, forcing people to do things. Those police land cruisers, those Subarus, Rigathi was taking advantage, appealing to his people that, these guys are out, so we must be alert. So those public alerts helped. And strategically, he also did something. Rigathi Gachagua called on supporters, he called on observers, he called on the media to monitor tallying. Because tallying was the key. So that any vehicle which was entering into those polling stations were told, Apana, and we saw the residents stopping them. At some point, Kenyans were actually shocked when police officers themselves had to open their bags to convince people that they're not carrying. That they're not carrying any polling materials. So strategically, he was able to make supporters be alert. And by monitoring that, it meant that if the government had the scheme of rigging, that scheme was thwarted. It was paralyzed. That is how Rigathi Gachagua was able to paralyze the rigging scheme. In fact, that can explain why Dennis Itumbi, very early in the evening, decided to congratulate the winner, because the intention was to stuff some of these ballot boxes, which could not be done. And number 4, Rigathi was able to capitalize on what is called state violence narrative. You see, when these campaigns emerged, and it was very clear that, Rigathi was going to win, and Rigathi started some wars, unnecessary wars, and imaginary wars with Murkomen. What did Murkomen do? He started responding to Rigathi. Unknown to Murkomen, those responses to Rigathi Gachagua is what Rigathi Gachagua wanted. Because he wanted to convince his people that the Kalenjin, who are in charge of the state security, are out to punish them. And that's how now people now started hating the police. People now started turning up in large numbers to punish them. Ladies and gentlemen, Rigathi Gachagua has been locked from running for the presidency. But one thing I know for sure, if you are to be allowed to run for the presidency, he can't stop William Ruto. This is a guy who did not even step in Ol Kalou. He was managing the campaigns remotely. I don't know what you think. Do you think there is any other strategy which he used to stop the deep state? Until next time, this is Lee Makwenyi. Bye-bye.